My name is Ronald Kelly. I'm a proud veteran of the United States Army, and I'm recording this live from Los Angeles, California, where I'm staying a week with my daughter and my grandson. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia, and I reside there currently. I like to think of myself as a new Renaissance filmmaker, a visual storyteller with an expertise in connecting visuals and audio to evoke specific emotions from the audience. My goal is to win an Emmy and an Oscar for producing, writing, or directing a heartfelt, timeless film. Reflection. The primal inclination strategy. This strategy explains my journey and the reason for most of my decisions to be a full-time creative. When I was 8 years old, my older cousin, who I admired like an older brother, was a hip-hop DJ. He decided to enter a rap talent show and he needed an MC. So he wrote me this verse because he noticed me memorizing every song that I heard. I performed it, and the reaction that I got from the crowd was euphoric. From that point until now, something inside kept calling me back. I made a pivot from music to movies. I get the same feeling when I create these stories, but now I know how to visually show you the story, sometimes without words. The Darwinian strategy. V.S. Ramachandran enrolled in medical school from the advice of his father and soon realized, although this career, considered more prestigious than most, it didn't make him happy because it wasn't his calling. I joined the Army at 17 for the same reason. I told myself, it's time to grow up and get a job so I can be a responsible member of society. I'm glad I didn't just stop there and settle. I was promoted fast and I could have made it a career, but I was unhappy inside. Something told me I was destined for greatness, and I followed that voice. The rebellion strategy. When I began, like I said, I was 8 years old, so hip-hop music wasn't as culturally inspirational as it is now. They said rap wasn't music and it was noise, and it was a phase that would fade away like disco. I felt rebellious for even listening to it and creating it, and I still love it. The culture, fashion, the dance, the art, music. You know, I never thought about making money because no one was getting rich from rap in the 80s. So I was so enamored in the culture, I didn't care about anything but making good songs that evoked emotion from the listener. There was a story in this chapter that resonated with me about how Mozart, who was a child prodigy, was eventually forced by his father to play the piano to support his family. This is when he became uninspired, doing what he loved, but not the way he wanted to do it. He wanted to create, not play the piano like a trick pony for the pompous so-called upper class. And I truly believe creating from your heart gives you greater joy than creating to sustain your lifestyle. I found it interesting that in doing what you love, there are still false paths to avoid. And you must do what you love without restraints or conditions put on you by others. The adaptation strategy. I was familiar with Freddie Roach as a coach and boxing analyst, so I've always had respect for his knowledge of the sweet science of boxing. What I found interesting was his mother being the one to tell him he wasn't good enough at boxing, and maybe he should just quit because he got hit too much. Freddie was a boxer during training, but became a brawler when the fight started. It was his natural instinct. It made me realize how harsh the people who love you can be when giving you advice on your dream. But we must remember, as visionaries, it was our dream, not theirs. The life or death strategy. This part of the story that resonated most with me is how Mr. Fuller was restless. Even though he found well-paying jobs, he would lose interest quick. Being successful at whatever job I had was never a problem for me because I took pride in what I'm responsible for. I was never fired from anywhere, and I always quit in search of a better paying job because I thought that was the void that needed to be filled to sustain my happiness. How wrong was I? I've always had this yearning for more and I could never explain it. People would say, why be a starving artist when you could get a real job? I couldn't stop the feeling inside like my purpose here was not being achieved. Expand. I've experienced some of the same obstacles as the subjects from each of the stories from the Strategies for Finding Your Life's Task chapter in Robert Greene's book Mastery. After I signed a deal with a major label that didn't work out, several times I quit doing music altogether and just worked a 9 to 5. When the pandemic hit us, I lost my job. And in that idle time, I co-wrote and co-produced What Would Picasso Do? Ironically, I was soul searching as I digested the story we were writing about an artist and his success. That's when I decided to enroll in the digital cinematography program at Full Sail. Now I'm back to get my master's and I've never been more focused. My first SMART goal for this month will be to read Mastery in its entirety, even if it's not assigned. The second SMART goal is to do current research on my industry and try to predict the future of filmmaking. My name is Ronald Kelly. I'm a student here in the Master's Program for Entertainment Business. Thank you to my grandson, my cinematographer, who helped me set up the cameras. This is Cameron. He's a future filmmaker.
Yeah.
Bye.